I want to say welcome, whether you're in this house, whether you're viewing from your house today. Thank you for the gift of your time. And a huge shout out to you guys for introducing that song to us. We were down in student ministry. I was a few weeks ago, just hugging on you, and I heard that song. And then Trent said, you guys love it. So I love it too. And the 60-year-old can feel like 16 again singing that. Thank you for just your enthusiasm. So, hey, whether you're watching online or whether you're viewing from your house, thank you for the gift of your time. I hope you'll take a minute and fill out that digital connection card. If you're in the house, you can reach it by scanning the QR code on the seat in front of you. If you're in your house or watching online, you can go to our NorthField app or website or just hit the link in the feed. Look under that Connect tab, and we will get it done for you. So many things going on that we want to tell you about today. It's going to look a bit different today because we are celebrating Appalachian Service Project Week today and kind of what it means to all of us. If you're new to NorthField or you're new to this area and you're wondering what ASP is, well, it stands for Appalachian Service Project, and they are the largest and oldest nonprofit serving the Appalachian region of our country. Their goal, as it states on the screen, is to make homes safer, drier, and warmer. And they do that operating in really what is our backyard. I think it shows an area there of Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina. They're based in Johnson City, Tennessee, just in East Tennessee. And the unique element of ASP is they partner students, 7th grade all the way through high school, with experienced adults leading construction projects for houses in that area. This was our 5th year to go. We had the largest group yet with 62 who made the trip. In fact, here's a picture of us in front of the building before we left that morning. And hey, if you're here at this service and you're one of those people in that picture, stand up. Woo! Hey, you may be seated. We were working in Perry County, Kentucky, an area that was hit in 2022 with flooding. We'll talk about that in just a second. In that flood, 45 people lost their lives. Over 9,000 homes were either completely destroyed or severely damaged. And yet that area of the country was spared Hurricane Helene that just hit a little bit ago. What I love, if you go to the website, Perry County has a website. If you go to their county's website, these people who are very poor themselves, a lot of them are collecting and giving things to send to counties that are adjacent to them. 37% of the entire county we went to, they live below the poverty level. 48% of all children in Perry County, Kentucky live in homes that are below the income level. Average household makes $27,900 a year in that entire county. And what we want to do is show you a recap video of the week that Melissa Lancaster, and if you see her, give her a shout out, because all of the students who went, the adults who went, we took pictures, we sent them back to Amy, who put them in a folder, and then Melissa she took that folder, she tried to make sure that everybody was included. We've gone through it like I don't know how many times, but it will give you a kind of a feel of what happened in that week. But I want you to know this, church family, whether you went on that trip or whether you didn't, you have a part if you give to NorthField Church financially, because we make it affordable. A lot of what we do is subsidized by your giving anyway, so we make it affordable. So every time you give to NorthField Church, you make videos like this possible. I hope it's meaningful to you, so give your attention to the screen for a few minutes.
You know, the smaller homes, low-income people, they're still struggling. Mm-hmm. We still have a lot in that area that need help. They have no help, you know, and they're working a minimum wage job or on disability with nobody to help them, no family. And it's really, really sad. And then you have people like you guys come in here and help us. It is wonderful. And to have these teenagers to learn this trade, this is something that they need to know. My children need to know it. And it is a blessing that parents allow their children to come in here and help us. It is a blessing to have you all come in here and help us.
I just want everybody to know how much I appreciate all this help and how nice everybody is.
This is Joyce and Sal's house behind me. I just stepped outside. Joyce was getting a little bit emotional in there. Talked about her son was killed just a year after purchasing this house, and she inherited that, and then the next year her husband passed away. Just talking about how meaningful it was to have somebody to help her do something. As you can see, she's got Sal. It's one of her daughters that has special needs, and this is the ramp coming off the entrance to their house, but the door is going to be changed a little bit later. It's hard to get the wheelchair out, but Sal can get out. Then they fold the wheelchair up, bring it out, and as you can see behind me here, then this is the way they have to go to get down to a car to get them out. Miss Joyce, what does it mean to you to have these people come out and fix your house for you?
It means about everything. It means that I can sit up here in a little piece and don't have to worry about something falling down the big.
Hey.
They are a blessed group. And the ASP is to try to help people. They have to be true friends.
Yes. They are true friends, aren't they? Well, what does it mean to you to have somebody come in and...
It means a lot to me. That meant a lot.
All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God.
This morning, saw a world full of trouble now. I thought, how do we ever get so far down? And how's it ever gonna turn around? So I turned my eyes to heaven. I thought, God, why don't you do something? Well, I just couldn't bear the thought of people living in poverty, children sold into slavery. The thought disgusted me, so I shook my fist at heaven. I said, God, why don't you do something? He said, I did. Yeah. I created you. If not us, then who? If not me and you. Right now. Well, it's time for us to do something.
House hasn't had running water in months and months, and they haven't had an operational shower in months and months for around a year.
It's time for us to do something. If not now, then when will we see an end to all this pain? Well, it's not enough to do nothing. It's time for us to do
So, NorthField family, thank you for what you're doing in helping send so many of our kids and adults here to Perry County, Kentucky. You know, one of our NorthField core values is from the book of Acts, a book we've been in for a while, because when we say we want to make Jesus known, we take an Acts 1:8 approach. If you've been with us in our Acts series, or I think you guys are going through Acts as well in one of your studies, Acts 1:8 is where Jesus looks to his disciples and he said, you're going to be my witnesses. You're going to start in Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is their hometown. But you're not going to stay in Jerusalem. You're going to go to Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. And Judea and Samaria, those are the people outside of your hometown. They're the people who, for whatever reason, they're a little bit different than you are. Maybe they're economically, they're different. Socially, they're different. Racially, they could be different. And then to the ends of the earth. And ASP in Perry County, Kentucky has been our Judea and Samaria this past year. ASP has always said that they are a relationship ministry with construction on the side. And what I hope you saw in that video is the relationship that each of you made, and your students and the adults that went made with the homeowners, whether it was throwing a party for a young lady that has special needs, building a ramp or a porch, or giving two families. We followed up with the one, Greg, that we were at the end, and they now have running water in that house. He got hit with a house that was probably one of the worst, Bill said, that we have seen in a while. And two different families, the one that had Hannah Humphreys and Cole, I think, going in there, they now have water. They were without water for 6 entire months before we got there in their home. And now they have running water because of you guys. And what we wanted to say this morning is to kind of turn the corner for just a bit from talking about the impact of ASP where they are and talking about Acts and how Acts is playing out in our church body. Because ASP was going somewhere else. It was going to a Judea, a Samaria for us. But two people in 2021 came back home and said, why don't we go local? Why won't we do what we're doing there back here? And they weren't saying do it here instead of there. They were like a both and, because both of these people I'm going to tell you about, they have gone, I think, the last 4 years. When coming back, Andrew Cano, is Andrew with us this morning? Like, oh, right over here. And Reagan Willingham, is she back? Okay, y'all not going to like that. Reagan Willingham is at the University of Alabama, and she may be in mourning today. I'm not sure, Reagan, if you were watching on town, we are not grieving with you, most of us. Anyway, but we feel your pain. I would just say that. So anyway, Andrew and Reagan, they came back and said, why don't we go local? Why can't we do here what we're doing there? They had a passion. But you know, when you're young and you have no experience with power tools and saws and all that stuff that it takes to build a house, what you need is experience. And that's where the adults came in. And the adults come in and they lead and they mentor these groups. And what we did was start using the training from ASP to help people right here in our hometown. So I wanted to show you a few of the things that have happened since ASP. So taking Judea and Samaria and then coming right back to our Jerusalem, which is our hometown. The first picture you're going to see is the first home that we worked on after Andrew and Reagan's first trip that they went on. The house belongs to Gallatin native Skip Holcomb. He is a Vietnam veteran. And in fact, I want to leave that, we're going to leave that picture up for just a minute because I want to point out something to you. The first two people, I'll start on the left in the gray hoodie and then the NASA hoodie, that is Andrew and Reagan, who came back, and then they had this incredible idea of doing this right here in our backyard. So they ran with an incredible group of adults. Next to them is Taylor Harlan, who has been on almost every ASP local project that we've had, as well as going on a couple of the trips. Next to Taylor is Cole Alexandro. Is that how you say your name? Alexandro, thank you very much. Alexandro. I'm going to say Mr. Zondo. Anyway. Now I've gone on 4 ASP trips, is that right? And then we'll talk about Cole in just a minute. Then we've got Greg, who is one of our adults who have gone and helped with ASP. Beside her is Hannah Humphreys. Hannah Humphreys, that's not me. It's not Hannah Humphreys, sorry. Hannah Maylander, which is Mackenzie, who directs our Sumner Center, her sister. And then beside her is Skip Halcomb, and he is the homeowner. And he could not get out of the back of his house in the wheelchair he was in. He struggled to get up and down because of his mobility issues. And they actually built a ramp for him. Next to Skip is Bill Jacoby over there. And Bill, we saved something we wanted to do. Come up here, if you will, be making your way up on stage. Bill Jacoby, you're going to have to push him, Mr. Rich, as he's coming up here. Because we wanted to do something. While he's coming up here on stage, making his way up, last person on there is Caleb Coley. I wanted to point Caleb out to you because Caleb not only went as a student worker, Caleb comes back and says, I want to be there the whole summer. So he applies, gets a job working as an intern the entire summer and leading one of our groups. I wanted to bring Bill up on stage because Bill is the one who came and brought ASP to NorthField initially. And just introduced us to this concept, has done a lot of work every year to make it happen. And you know, we have, you know, you've heard from Santa Claus, you get a lump of coal ever so often. Well, we brought you a lump of coal. Perfect. It is from the ground in Perry County, Kentucky. We have a plaque, but the plaque says Billy Jacoby, evidently your ASP name, so we're going to get this changed to Bill Jacoby, and it will go on here. But it's more than a piece of coal. It represents a ground that we have helped change. Coal mining gave those people a lot of funds at one time, but it's not so much the case anymore. And, you know, with change, whether you're for it or not for it, there are certain areas that have been heavily affected by coal not being a resource that they're able to get out of the ground, and it put a lot of people in poverty. And so really when you see this, we just want you to know that we know that you have changed the ground that they walk on. And we just wanted to say thank you for introducing this to us.
Brother.
Oh, and then all of that to say, you never know how God is going to use you. Because if you look at that picture and you look at all the things that are going on, who knew that we would come back and say, hey, why can't we do that right here? Next picture I want to show you is, it's after Reagan's first trip with ASP. That's Reagan in the blue over there in the middle that's working on an ASP project. And then on the right, is right here in Gallatin, a lady named Linda. Linda could not get out of her house. And so we get word through the grapevine that there's a house in Gallatin that the front steps she could get to her porch, but that was it. She had to go out the back of her house and go around. Well, Reagan starts getting some other workers from right here at NorthField together, and we call our ASP friends, and we start saying, what can we do? That's Reagan on the front porch. It's a brand new front porch with Linda there. And then I think the next slide shows the group of volunteers. That's Mike Slayball, who works in our food ministry every single week. Beside him is Sean McCarty, who's been on 3 now ASP trips. Behind Sean is Caleb Coley, that I told you a bit about ago, that went about and became a summer intern there. Next to him, Craig Langford, going across, who went to ASP. Not only him, but he took his daughter. They served together there for a week. Pat Glitherow, who's involved in our food ministry here. And then, of course, Reagan with Linda back there at the back. And then maybe one last kind of overall home picture I want to show you is Patty Reese's home. It was at Christmas time. We got a call from the fire department who had gone out to her house because they were kind of trapped in there. They could not get out. Some things were going on, and they realized there were 2 people living in that house that were totally incapable of getting out. They were confined to a wheelchair. They had no way in and out of their house unless someone helped them, and nobody lived there who was able to help them. So, you know, as word gets out, and, you know, when you get these calls and you answer the phone and they say, is this the church that helps people? And I'm so thankful that the people who answer our phones can say, yeah, this is a church that helps people. What you need. And And so they got busy with, that's Kate Ritchie up there on the top with Habitat for Humanity. We partnered with them. We got them a way in and out of their home that was accessible right here in our county. Every one of those people on that road there, you've got Mackenzie Froelich, who is the first one on the right side beside that Patty Reese sign. Mackenzie went as a student, like many of you did, and then like Caleb Coley, she goes back and becomes a student worker for the summer, and then she went to LSU, and guess what she's majoring in at LSU? Construction management. Oh, yeah, clap it down here for Mackenzie. Majoring in construction, I mean, just changed the trajectory of someone's life that started with something like this. And then I want to point out Jeff Rydell. He is in the back behind Patty there. That kind of turns us to what's happened in the last several years back here. In 2021, there were some floods. We put out a plea. FEMA was struggling to get people up and where they needed to be. In comes ASP, and ASP said, well, we want to try to rebuild these homes. And ASP, together with churches, rebuilt 44 homes in 27 months, which was it beat any government agency hands down anytime, and got people back in their homes. Jeff Rydell, I think, went every weekend doing the trade that he does here. But he was also, when we took an entire week, and we took a team of people down there, and this picture is one of the houses that we worked on in Waverly, Tennessee, when they had the flood. And what I want to tell you about this picture are the three people on the ladder there. Devin Click is on the far left. Devin, I think I saw standing right over there. Devin, Hannah Humphreys is right here, I think. And then Cole right over here. They have applied to be on this leadership summit that we were hoping we were going to be able to announce something today, but that's not going to come to, they're not making a choice to November. But I want you guys to be praying that those three who have applied for that get an opportunity to be in that leadership summit that's going to happen in February. They're going to announce that. We think they have an incredible chance of going. The middle guy in there is Kingston. Is he down here anywhere? Kingston Rios. He may be at our 11 o'clock service. They usually come. Anyway, Kingston is in the middle there. I'll go back to Kingston in a minute because Kingston's dad is the one I'm talking about. James Rios is on the other side of that ladder there. And I'm not telling you, James Rios had a story that he told publicly about a month ago in a video. When I first met James several years ago, James was such a good man, but James wasn't a believer. Seen too much, just things happen. His wife, Katie, incredible believer. James, not so much, wondering. And so Kingston in the middle is growing up in a home with an incredible mom, an incredible dad. One happens to be a follower of Jesus, and the other is not a follower of Jesus. But James started hanging around people like ASP. And James started seeing how the church can affect people's lives, because up to a point, James had thought, man, the church, there's a group of people that meet on Sunday and then go out. And I'm summarizing his whole story right here. But wow, 2 months ago, if you were at our 11 o'clock service, do you know what you saw? You saw James Rios give his life to Jesus and was baptized into Christ on the stage here. And the little guy in the middle there is Kingston, growing up at home with a believing mom and dad. And that's our prayer. Because you never know what's going to happen when you take a leap of faith and you say, you know what, I'm going to go do something. I'm going to live out Acts 1, because we can sit and we can talk about the book of Acts all we want to, but if we don't live it out in our everyday life, it will do us no good. Facts are good for nothing but filing. It's what you do about those facts that make a difference. And wow, church family, you, in some very rough circumstances, you make an incredible difference in the lives of people. I want to read something to you real quick. I got to put my glasses on to do it. When we went to Humphreys County, we were never expecting this, and this came to us. ASP partnered, as I said, with Governor Bill Lee, and they decided to try to do what FEMA wasn't doing, and they go in and they say, let's see if we can build those houses. ASP comes in, they commit to building some houses in Kentucky, and they use churches like us to do it. Many of you went down there to do that, and they sent us a proclamation that I want to read most of it to you today. This proclamation is in recognition of NorthField Church for excellence in partnership with disaster recovery and rebuilding homes in Waverly, Tennessee. Whereas it is fitting that NorthField Church be recognized for its significant contribution to the recovery efforts for families affected by the 2021 flooding in Waverly, Tennessee, and whereas throughout the day on August 21st, 2021, in under 12 hours, an estimated 15 inches of rain fell across Middle Tennessee, including the town of Waverly. The result was a devastating flood that destroyed hundreds of homes, damaged many others, and tragically claimed the lives of over 20 people in this one town. Whereas much of the Waverly community had not been identified as a flood hazard, and as a result, virtually none of the residents had flood insurance, and the storm caused more than $50 million in residential property. Though the event did qualify for a presidential disaster declaration, it soon became apparent that even without assistance, many of the affected families simply did not have the financial means to recover from the loss, in some cases, of every single thing they owned. Whereas in the absence of the resources required, a volunteer and partner-based recovery plan was developed to meet the housing needs. Volunteers from across the nation were mobilized in the Waverly community to repair and replace homes for hundreds of families. Churches, civic organizations, foundations, and individuals became involved. Whereas Appalachian Service Project was blessed to be involved in some of the hardest hit of the recovery efforts, NorthField Church stepped up as a vital partner to build new homes. As a result of that collaborative spirit, 44 homes were repaired within 27 months of the flood by Appalachian Service Project and their partnering organizations. They were replaced with homes that are warmer, drier, and safer than the ones lost in the flood. Get this, at no direct cost to the individual homeowners whatsoever. Whereas APS could not have accomplished this goal without such dedicated partners as NorthField Church, we do hereby proclaim our thankfulness to the Lord for the blessing that NorthField Church was to us in its profound partnership with ASP, proclaimed in Humphrey counties this 26th day of September. That's for... When you give, let me tell you, we try our best to do good stuff with it. That doesn't even begin to address Kevin and Penny Rudisil. I think they're right over here. You're going to hear some more stuff in a minute because now we're going to transition from what we did there to what happened in Waverly to how we're going to get involved with what's happened in East Tennessee and Hurricane Helene. Kevin and Penny are taking a exploratory trip. They're going up Friday of this week. We will release tomorrow on social media a list of things that they need to take with them for this first trip. Here is the challenge with going to those areas right now. There is no place to stay. Every hotel, every person that has a place to stay is already by people who have come in with, to do this work, and the people who have been displaced by their homes are living in hotels, sometimes up to an hour and a half away from where they were staying. Kevin and Penny have a camper, so they are taking, maybe it's called an RV. They have something big with wheels and you can live in it and cook in it and drive it. So if you got one of those, you might want to hook on. And Kevin and Penny are going to be at the Iman station. You can talk to them about being a part. They're going to serve dinner and lunch to, one is a camp that people are at, and one is for the relief workers who are working around the clock and living in a high school that is on the property there. So that's what they're going to be doing. We'll release a thing tomorrow that shows how you can be involved in that if you want to bring efforts to that. And that kind of brings us to something else. So if you want to meet Kevin and Penny out there, do that. The latest relief efforts to those devastated by Hurricane Helene, over 100 of you have already signed up on a list. And what you may not know is that of the 30 counties affected by Hurricane Helene, or the 36 counties, 30 of those are within the ASP service area. So you've asked how you can help. Well, we are once again, since we know all of the funds that we give go directly to the end partnership, we're going to partner with ASP in rebuilding these homes. The president, Melissa Winward of ASP, sent us a personal message that I think it went out to all the churches like us who may help with that. We want you to see it. It's about 3 minutes on the screen. It's from the president of ASP.
Hi friends, this is Melissa Winburn with ASP, and I wanted to record a personal message just to you because you are our friends and our family. You have been with us for a long time, volunteering in these same mountains that we love that have just gone through devastation. Let me give you an idea of what's happening here on the ground. Our staff are doing okay. Everyone has been safe and their families are safe and evacuated. If anybody was in an infected area, some have had property loss. But in general, we're here just ready to start looking after our neighbors. The outpouring of love and support that we have gotten from you has been the most heartwarming thing. Thank you so much for your prayers, for your donations, for your enthusiasm in coming and volunteering. It really does mean a lot to us. The devastation that we're seeing within arm's length of ASP's headquarters here and upwards of 36 different counties surrounding us is like nothing that I've ever seen. The word overwhelming does not even begin to describe it. The water came up so fast, and here in the mountains, you know this landscape. flash flooding and mudslides, they are fast and they're violent. Many families had just minutes to get out of their homes. Some didn't make it, and some did make it with just the clothes that they had on their back. So this is what we're trying to kind of pull ourselves out of right now. And we do need you to volunteer. So far, we haven't been able to take you volunteering yet, and that's because it's not safe to go in at this point, and we need to make sure that it's safe for you and that we can get families built up in areas where it will be warm, safe, and dry for them for a long time. So here is my plea to you who love us and love this area. Stick with us. This recovery will be measured in years, not months. And so we need you, who are our family, to remember the smaller places that have been hit as well, and when it is safe to do. So we will put a plea out to you to volunteer. Right now, you can go on our website and donate. Every dollar will be put back into homes as quickly as possible. You can also put your name down to volunteer, and we'll let you know as soon as we can when is the time. It's emotional, as you can see, but we're okay enough down here. We're just dealing with the trauma of a tragedy as a community does all together. But in true ASP fashion, we will pull together with your help from afar and with the community here close to really put love into action, and we will remain Appalachia strong. I am positive of that. So stick with us. Know that you're loved. Know that you're appreciated. We will keep you in our prayers, and we hope that you will keep us in yours as well. Thank you all. We love you.
So let me tell you, on the way out, you can pick up one of these brochures. We have enough for you. We have enough for you to give to friends, neighbors, and businesses. What we're hoping to do is this. Since we can't go right now as a group, and again, kind of like we said with Kevin and Penny, the only way you can go is if you've got housing and you can stay there by yourselves. Since printing that form, those are the developments that have come across. So it looks like the teams of people that can go back and start rebuilding houses is going to be the spring of 2025. The reason they think that is their goal is to try to get as many people as they can whose houses were marginally affected out of the hotels and back into their homes so that the hotels can open up where people can stay when relief workers come. So that's kind of with that overall kind of vision in mind, that's the goal. So if you go to this form that says interested in serving and you scan that, if you have already signed up with us the last 2 weeks, you got an email yesterday to transfer your information to this form. It has more information than the other one did because there's some things they're going to need from you from that. But it will have two options. The first option is if you want to be a part of helping with Hurricane Helene. Those opportunities will not come as a group until the spring. If you would like to, if you have a camper and you want to go individually, you can go to ASP's website and sign up there. But this is kind of getting you on a team to serve in NorthField. It will also ask you questions as you scroll down from there, what type of experience you have, because if you have experience in home building, those are the people they need, and they will be building homes from the ground up in that area. So that's one option. The second option you're going to see is what all of us here in these shirts and a few without these shirts did this past summer. And it is, so this summer is going to look a little bit different or differently than it has in the past, because usually we go and we work on some houses that have been there for a while. This summer, there are going to be really two teams that can go. One team will be normal ASP things. We may be working on some homes that were flooded. We don't know yet. But what we're going to do is the adults that can go and mentor a group of our students and kind of help them with all the things that they need to go into the house. That's going to be one portion of that trip. The other portion of that trip is if we have adults that they can kind of turn you loose and say, this is where we are rebuilding this house. We're to this stage and you have experience. They're going to let you go off to some of these homes that they are committing to rebuild in that area. So we'll have a larger team, we think, going back in the summer of this year. A lot of that's confusing, so when you scan that, if you're still confused, call the office and we'll make sure. But 2 opportunities. One probably won't be to the spring to NorthField Church. The other will be in the summer then when we go kind of as a group, and you can go on either of those, all of those if you want to. They especially need adults who have experience in disaster recovery and disaster relief. Their goal, then I'm going to switch to the other side. ASP, without having the funding in place, went on a faith journey, and they have committed, because they can do it faster and more efficiently than any government organization can, that they are going to take a minimum of 200 homes that were completely destroyed, where the people have no insurance, and they're going to build it from the ground up for those people, and they're going to put them back into those homes. They already have a whole lot of organizations that have lumber and all that, nails and all that stuff that you need to do that with. The other thing that they're going to do is use us and those teams starting in the spring to do that, and then on our regular ASP trip to do that. They're going to rebuild an entire home for $50,000. They figure that will be the cost outside of what's donated to put people back in their homes. We know a couple of weeks ago, man, y'all gave so much. Because of what you gave a couple of weeks ago, when we think of the third part of that Acts 1:8 approach to the ends of the earth, we've already put $25,000 in food. We asked for $25,000 altogether. We got $25,000 of food going to Africa, starting, let's just say, very quickly. And then the other part of that is 3 additional wells that are going to be built in the 3 communities that we're going to, so that the doctors that are traveling with us can actually go back and follow up on the people that we're treating. Just because you guys gave. So I know you gave big there. We're going to, this building over here that we're building, we're going to, that's our hometown. At the end of the year, we're going to hope and pray that God provides one of y'all with the winning 6 numbers. Anyway, that's how He's going to do it. I may side pray that in there, but anyway, He does it because we give liberally and generously and abundantly because of how we've been blessed. But anyway, I know we got to do that in December, but we thought this is our Judea and Samaria, and we have to be the witnesses here. So we have decided, regardless of what happens, we're going to take one of these homes. That's the other side of this. If you would like to donate today or in the coming weeks and months, if we do one home, we'll do one home. If we do 2 homes, we'll do 2 homes. But we are, regardless of what happens, going to do one home anyway. And we're going to look above that for what we can do. So if you donate, you can donate on ASP site, but we would prefer you to donate right here, and we're going to send it all to them, and we'll let you know how many homes. Probably in 3 to 4 weeks, we'll give you an update on where we are here with this. But just know those 2 things are out there that you can be a part of as well. It is Acts 1:8 in just in living color there. I think it's absolutely incredible what we're going to do. You can give by scanning that, or by going to our NorthField app or website and choosing the disaster recovery relief. And we're going to continue to make a difference in Jerusalem, right here, in Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. And for all of you who make a difference, I would love those students who are in here that we don't get to see every week. Church family, would you right now let them hear by your applause how much you appreciate the sacrifice that they make